so heavy that you'll actually stamp out all criminal behaviour amongst angels just by that one verdict. 3 levels. First offence. And there's never a second one for you to judge, so you never have to say it's a life ban. Goodbye. You never reach that point. So, well, why do people pay homage to a god that's just going to slaughter them with a sword? Why are they after this sort of fucking species that's run their life? Well, what's the purpose of the fucking description? That they have a god, a fucking huge giant flaming man that has a flaming sword that stabs you with the tongue, that stabs. Oh, it's the word. Well, yes, you're quite right in that assertion, but it's still fucking a load of absolute codswallopes. It's just a pictorial lie, my friend. Haven't you ever seen this before? I used to do this as a child myself, I've had experience with this. I've seen it, and what happens is you slip up one day, whack whack. Oh, it's not perfect, whack whack, then it just crumbles to the core, like it's all gone. And that's when you realise that you have to become the most honest human being in the world just to get through this pain. I get the feeling that I'm having actors from Britain watching my videos, and I don't mind, the comparison that they're making in their minds right now between themselves and myself. There's no fucking Christmas trees sitting behind my shoulders, man. There's no fucking winter fucking clothing there at all. They're fucking all just hung up. What you see is a fucking huge, gigantic air conditioner that doesn't make a spot of difference in any fucking weather. The electricity in Australia is charged at a completely ridiculous rate for the fucking source of coal, for the amount of coal that we have here, but it's still charging $10 for that much electricity. Are we paying for someone else's use in Australia? The electricity in Australia is rather overpriced, but we're the producer of this. Is this something to do with the overpriced wages that occur in Australia? Are we sending people to work, giving them a ridiculously high wage so that they can pay for their food and their housing and their computer, with furniture and cutlery and crockery and miscellaneous avenues that we enjoy, the barbecues and whatnot? Why is it taking so much work in Australia for this just to occur? In other countries where they have a much larger population and much less land space, they're able to provide better services, better food, for example, that's grown more attuned to the process of the way the plant sprouts the best. They've been observing these plants for a long time, these gardeners over there, these farmers. They know what the fucking plant is meant to do this week, so they go out and fucking give it a fucking little tickle with water, and then wait for it to rain. That's just fucking planned out in their mind. Just as fucking, in Australia we just fucking panic, put the seeds in, and fucking hope the fuck it's gonna rain next week. There's very fucking hit and miss. The only way any fucking kind of farming in Australia, internal areas, is ever gonna fucking work, because it's just the way the continent is right now, is to drill the water out of the fucking basin and pump it up into the fucking the soil. But what you'll find with all the fucking minerals that are in that thing, you'll have to grow varieties of plants that have chemicals coming out of the roots that have changed the water into more of a sweet variety as they're travelling down through the roots. So what you'll need is like a lot of dead material on the ground, falling off this fucking group of plants that are surrounding it. But make sure they're endemic. If you can get away with endemic, or else just make them natives. You might find that there's actually no no particular reason why I prefer endemics and natives over foreign plants. There's actually no reason whatsoever. It's just, there's something internal about the preference to try to make things as pure as possible. And even though you already have failed at that fucking process already 200 years ago when you fucking first stepped foot on a shore, and the first little bunny rabbit hopped out in its cage and dropped a piece of fur on the soil in Australia. From that moment forth, the whole continent had changed. If you want to be really fucking precisely delicate about the whole fucking process, bunny hair in Australia, how did that get there? You remember that what we're dealing with the heaven and God being is the man that has all knowledge of everything happening and occurring at once throughout the entire universe, and this is the only place where there's life. Well, there are rumours that there are other areas that feed off the stars as their food source and are disgusted at the thought of us eating dead animals. And actually the guy said that fucking 3 years after he had that experience in this fucking dead fucking state, this is a fucking after-death dream, that the fucking where he used to live, where he described in his fucking dream to these aliens that they fucking actually had fucking UFO sightings that fucking very night. And then the aliens studied the territory and they got a vibe of what was the stars were talking about, and they moved it down further down the coast to where he had moved himself, the period of term of go. And if they'd waited a little bit longer, they would have eventually found him across some sort of internet network or something like that. But there's so much information that they wouldn't have been able to just sit there and go through it all. They would have become auspicious after 3 days sitting there in the air. These aliens know the polite manner of conduct between two species that have never had contact before, whether you've fucking ever had contact with any alien species before or not. Okay? But they may not exist. I know angels exist. I don't know about aliens. I know God exists, because he's fucking shown me himself several times now. I've seen God. So, what do you do? Say, oh yeah, well that's God, right? Okay, so what now? There's some question about the belief system that I hold. Well, no, I fucking know he exists. There's no fucking question. And I know that fucking angels are standing there right next to him. And I know they're all buddy, pal. There's no cheerleaders, unfortunately, in heaven. Now I'm having flashes of fucking imagery of a cheerleader I saw getting horny on camera the other day. One with a really lusciously delicious body. But you do realise that instead of having a man suck my penis at the age of 17, I should be perfectly capable of ejaculating a cumulate of semen into a 19-year-old girl's pussy at the age of my age. As long as she gets a good ride, and so do I, and then there's no fucking question that this is going to be an activity that I'll partake in. Alright, I'm a little bit tired, okay, so I am going to go and fucking have a lie down.